What's up, everybody? My name is Malachi, and this is the Shot List Show, the show where we review the good, the bad, and everything in between on movies. Today, me and my co-host Jeff are going to review the movies of 2024. What were our favorites? What were our least favorites? What were some that were just kind of in between? We'll find out on this first segment that I like to call Tier Time. For today, I have cards laid out on this table right here, and these are all films that I watched in 2024. And I'm gonna have Jeff, my co-host here. He is going to pick 10 cards, and we are going to list them in one of 3 categories. I have certified banger, which means it's the best movie, one of the best movies I watched last year. Then we have not my cup of tea, which is a tier where like I didn't really like it, but you might like it at home, or Jeff might like it if he wants to watch it. And then we have which goes into the pile of doom right here. Is you should not watch it at all. Don't even try and click it. Go to another streaming service because we are not going to want to watch it. So, without further ado, are you ready to pick your first card?
I am ready.
All righty. So go ahead and pick your first card. Ooh. Alrighty. So go ahead and show the camera. Alrighty. So we have Abigail. Interesting. Okay. So have you heard of this movie before?
I have not.
Okay, so this one is directed by Tyler, I'm gonna butcher these directors' names, but Tyler Gillett and Matt Bettinelli-Olpin. It was released in April of last year, and the brief summary of it is it's a group of people, and they go into this house, and they're only tasked to watch this girl named Abigail. Ooh, title card. And she turns out, spoiler alert, to be a vampire. And the reason why they got recruited to this house is because that is her food for the night. So they get locked in the house and her food are the people that get recruited to the house. It is very gory, but like in a comedy gore type of way, like where like people just explode left and right, but not in like a, ooh, it's just like, oh, okay, that happened, kind of different thing. But I say for this one, I would put it in the not my cup of tea.
I was thinking that myself.
Yeah, like it was a good movie for what it was worth. I just don't think it belongs in like the best of the best for 2024. I just think that like the acting in it was like mediocre. The kid was kind of annoying because it was like this 12-year-old girl that was like, let me eat you. And I'm like, all right, that's kind of annoying. So I'm gonna put it just in the middle. I'm gonna put it down over here. It's not in the trash yet, but I'm gonna put it over here. Okay, so we're gonna pick your next card.
All right, let's see. Next one. How about this one over here?
Alrighty.
Let's see what this one is.
Okay, it is We Live in Time. We Live in Time. Alrighty. You can see my failed drawing on here. This one is by John Crowley. It was released in October of last year. This one I thought was pretty funny because it stars Andrew Garfield, Mr. Spider-Man himself, and Florence Pugh. But this one is a coming-of-age film where it's directed in a way where they jump through each other's lives. So instead of it just being like linear or chronological, it shows these 2 people, it shows them how they met, and then it'll jump to like they're married and they have a kid. And then it'll jump back to like they don't have a kid and they went on their first date. So it's like very, I don't even know, non-linear. We've done some classes where we've had to try and do a non-linear story. So it's funny because as I was making a non-linear story for one of my classes, that movie actually came out and I watched it and it was really, really good. It's kind of sad because a lot of stuff in life happens that is very sad. So like that's why they do non-linear, because you'll find out like 30 minutes into the movie, they have a kid, but then it'll jump forward throughout the movie, and it'll be like, oh, let's go to a flashback where they argued about not wanting to have kids. So it's very serious adult topics. One thing that was funny about it is people online were saying that they finally get to play British people, because if you've ever watched any movies with Andrew Garfield, like Social Network or Spider-Man, he has to play with an American accent. Same thing with Florence Pugh. If you watch Midsommar, or technically Black Widow, she's Russian, but she never gets to speak with her like home accent, like English.
Of course.
Yeah. But I would put that one in one of my certified bangers. I think that one is a really, really good one. I watched it with my friend and she cried at the very end. Apparently I'm very heartless because a lot of the stuff was kind of sad in it, but I felt it inside, but I didn't really cry at it.
So it's not really time travel, it's just non-linear.
It's just non-linear, yes. They could have taken the clips and lined it up to make a full cohesive story, but they took the clips and like put them in a blender and just made it very non-linear. I think it was really, really good. It was beautifully shot. It is an A24 film, and I'm an A24 nerd, so I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay, good job.
Alrighty.
Round of applause.
To the A24 film. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Alrighty. So now we're gonna go to our next one.
Let's go over here in the corner.
Alrighty.
What is this going to be? This is going to be Kung Fu Panda.
4.
Alright.
So you said you watched this one.
I did
yes?
watch this one.
Okay, so what did you think about this one?
I liked how they brought some of the old characters back
Mm-hmm.
to him to be able to fight and stuff, and so I kind of enjoyed that. And I always liked the Jack Black Kung Fu Panda type stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm a big animated movies. I think all the movies that I watched this year, or in 2024, were animated. I don't think I watched any live action movies.
Yeah. So this one I only watched because, as you know, and as the audience will learn, I work at a movie theater, and they had like an employee screening of it. So I was like, yeah, why not? Like, I loved Kung Fu Panda as a kid. It has like a lot of like, it's like a legacy sequel. They have obviously now 4, but the first one came out when I was a little kid. So it was based off of like the nostalgia factor for me wanting to go watch it. I thought the concept of the villain was cool. It's like the Chameleon, I think is her name.
Right.
Viola Davis did a really, really good job playing the Chameleon, and then being able to use the Chameleon's power to bring back the villains from the other movies that everybody knows and loves. I thought it was pretty good. Animation though, it's a DreamWorks movie, I believe. And I know DreamWorks is kind of like pushing the boundaries on what they want to do for animation. So for example, the movie I never really watched, but I saw clips of was the new Puss in Boots movie.
The Last Wish.
Yes, The Last Wish.
I like that one.
And that one was really cool because they saw the action intensity of it and then they animated it to kind of match. And I feel like Kung Fu Panda could have benefited from that. I don't really remember a lot of animated scenes from there where I was like, whoa, that's really, really cool. Also, I think that's due to the fact that they took my homie Master Oogway out. He didn't even make a cameo. Spoiler alert, but Master Oogway, I need more respect for Master Oogway. That is my man. I rock with him. Master Shifu's not really in there. The Furious 5, they're not in there. There's no one in there.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think this one is good. I'm gonna put it in not my cup of tea just because it's like, there are animated movies that came out last year that I think need more credit. I don't really like the whole legacy sequel thing.
Right. I wasn't a real big fan of the one. What is she? A fox? I think.
Yeah.
Fox.
Played by Aquafina. I think she's
Yes.
like a red panda or something. Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess she's been in so many movies that I'm kind of like, okay, I'm kind of tired of you.
Yeah, she's just in everything. I think that she's like an all right actress, but trying to, like when you watch every single movie of the year and she's in every single one, it kind of gets redundant.
Right.
And she's not like a new up and comer. She's been here for a while. I remember watching her in Crazy Rich Asians, and I liked her in that movie.
Right.
But then ever since that movie, she's been in every single one. So I'm gonna put this one in not my cup of tea. It might be your cup of tea, but I think there's other ones in this pool that might be a little bit better. So that was number 3.
All
Go
right.
ahead and pick number 4.
Number 4. All right, I'm gonna go closer to me.
Okay.
So let's see what we got here.
Okay, so we have Baby Girl.
Baby Girl.
I was kind of scared of this one, not gonna lie, because the subject matter of it is kind of explicit, so I'm going to try and keep it PG-13. So this is another film by A24. It is directed by Helena Regine, again, probably gonna butcher the name, and it is about, I'm trying to put it in broad terms. It stars Nicole Kidman, and it is her falling in love or having an affair with her intern. She is a CEO of this company that uses robots to ship and mail things, I believe, kind of like at Amazon in 2025. And she sees this intern and falls in love with this intern because her home life and her love life at home isn't doing enough for her in a certain department that I'm not going to mention because this is a college show and you know, we're gonna plug our ears. But this one I think is really, really beautifully shot. There have been some people I've talked to that have watched this movie that didn't like it just because they feel like it was kind of forced because Nicole Kidman is such like a astute actress and they feel like they could have left that role for someone else that no one really knew, or someone that could bring back. For example, there's a movie called The Substance that came out last year where they brought back Demi Moore, who hasn't acted in like a long time. So people believe that they could have used that role for a better actress. I think Nicole Kidman did a really good job. It was beautifully shot. One part that I really liked is there's a part where they go to the club, her and the intern person go to a club, and she basically lets loose. She's very like stuck up, very CEO, and she goes in and just lets loose, has fun, kind of showing that dynamic of this intern basically bringing her younger side out. There's a lot of drama in it. That's the one part I like about the movie, is like you don't know if she's gonna get caught by her husband the whole time, because she's cheating on her husband with this intern at work. I feel like for you, it might not be your cup of tea.
Yeah, not my cup of tea.
For me, it was weird because it dropped on Christmas, so it's not very Christmassy, but honestly, I think I'm gonna put this in a certified banger. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people in like the award circuit believe that it should have gotten nominated for an award. I don't know what it would have gotten nominated for, because like the acting is all right. I think the story is really good, so it could have been like the 10th place of like the best film nominees, but I don't think that I think a lot of people kind of are 50-50 on it. You either really like it or you really don't. I just think that I would put it in my certified banger, especially with the other people that are in like the Oscar circuit. They really liked it and think that it deserved an award, and I do too. Alrighty, number 5.
Number 5. Let's see. Let's go with the one over here.
Alrighty.
Speak no evil.
Speak no evil. Alrighty. So this one has James McAvoy in it, who is the guy from Split. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. He is also Professor X, or Professor Xavier in the X-Men movies when he's younger.
Yes.
Like First Class, I think.
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past, yes. And in this movie, it is about a family that goes and visits a foreign country. I don't remember if it's like Sweden or Italy or Greece, somewhere over there. And then they meet another family there that are also from their same like country. So two families go on vacation, they meet in this foreign country, and James McAvoy is very friendly to the family, and it's like, oh, when we go back home, you should visit us. So the main family goes back home, and they are kind of like, he was fun, but we're not gonna like hit him up. They kind of ghost him. Then they get a message in the mail being like, hey, you don't remember this, but you gave me your address, and we really would like you to come over. And they're like, you know what, fine, let's do it, let's let loose. Because again, like this is the second movie in a row where the main characters are like kind of stuck up and they want to let loose. But this one kind of backfires because they go over to the house and they notice a lot of stuff is like weird. Like one reason it's called Speak No Evil is the family, James McAvoy, the evil family that you find out later is evil. The son can't speak because his tongue got cut out. But the kid, the evil kid, is trying to warn the kid from the good family, like, don't be here, you should leave. They're trying to do something that's shady and messed up. This one I'd say would be in not my cup of tea, just cause like, it's all right. I don't think it's James McAvoy's best acting work. I think Days of Future Past or Split or any of those movies deserve like an award. This one was just kind of like, I think he just got his check and then bounced. But it was one of those filler movies, like working at the movie theater. Not a lot of people went and watched it. It was just kind of like, oh, well, it's out, so we're bored and it's raining, so we're gonna go watch that movie. So it's not my cup of tea. If it's on like Netflix or something, I'd say go watch it, but I don't think people should watch it. All right, we're gonna go to the next one.
All right, we have not had any yet.
Yeah, I know, we're almost on. All right, we are on Cuckoo.
Cuckoo.
So this one.
Is this another horror movie? This
one is kind of horror, like horror thriller. It's by Tillman Singer. This one has, I do not remember her name. It is Hunter Schafer from Euphoria. She's a new-ish aspiring actress. And this one, it's kind of the same deal as Speak No Evil, where it's a family, she's the main character. Her and her family go off to this retreat in the woods, and it's in like a foreign country. I think it's in like Germany somewhere. And she realizes that the camp that they went to is just like weird. Like there's some weird stuff going on there. Again, every single movie that I'm watching is someone going somewhere and some weird stuff happening. I don't know why. That is my main genre, my niche, other than Kung Fu Panda 4. They don't go anywhere weird, I don't think. But yeah, she goes there and basically just a lot of stuff weird happens in the woods. She starts working at like this retail store that's in the like cabin, like log cabin area that they're at, and a lot of stuff starts happening around them. I don't really remember a lot because this one, I'm gonna put it in the pit of doom. I'm gonna put it in the pit of doom just because I don't really remember it. It was early in the year when it released. I think Hunter Schafer is a good actress, but I don't think that the like the plot of the story was well enough written for the movie to drive me to like really want to watch it again. I think it was a cool watch. I watched it one time, but I think it has to go into the pit of doom. So it's going bye-bye into that pit of doom. And now we're gonna go to the next one. I think we have 3 more left.
Alrighty, let's see. Who's our next contestant? Let's go way over here.
All the way over there. Okay, let's see here.
All right, who we have?
Alrighty, I think we have Argyle. Okay, so this one is by Matthew Vaughn, who I believe directed the Kingsman movies, if you've ever watched those spy movies, which are actually really, really good.
I've seen the previews.
Yes, I'd recommend those. The Kingsman movies are really, really good. They have Taron Egerton. But anyways, this one has, I'm not gonna remember her name.
Socks.
Yes, it has multiple patterns. Okay. I do remember it has Henry Cavill. He is the Argyle character. And it's this actress who writes, or the actress in the movie writes a story and her story comes to life around her. And as she's writing it, these villains like come and like berate her and she's like, what's going on? And they're like, we need you to finish writing this story because like as you're writing it, stuff is coming to life. So we want to figure out like what's going on. It's kind of weird as the story progresses because she's writing as like she's influenced just from like outside influence. But as she's writing, she has to run away from these people because these people are villains. And she's like, I don't want you stealing my work. Like she's just kind of running away and writing. And you slowly find out that she's writing these experiences and like these villains are coming to her because it's about her life. She doesn't remember it. So she is writing about this Agent Argyle and she is Agent Argyle. Okay. So you find out later in the film. There's a lot of good actors and actresses. Spoiler alert, the spoiler alert. Samuel L. Jackson's in there. I think Bryan Cranston is in there. I wanna say the mom from Home Alone is in there. There's a lot of like random actors and actresses. It seems like they had a really, really good time with it. I think it was pretty good. I watched it in 40X at my theater, which has like the seats that move and all that stuff. I feel like you would like it just because of like the writing aspect, like you're a writer.
Well, as you were talking about it, I was really thinking, hey, I might actually check that one out.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of like a spy movie. I don't remember who her male counterpart is, so that's kind of bad on me for not remembering the actor and the actresses that are the main people. And also it ends on like a cliffhanger, so I feel like there might be another one. I'm gonna put this one, since there's only 10 that we're gonna do, I'm gonna put this one in the certified banger, but I'm gonna put it at like the bottom of the certified banger. I think it's really, really good. I would rewatch it if someone put it back on, but I don't think it's gonna be like Oscar award winning. I just think it was a really, really good story. I enjoyed it. I think I love little comical movies like that where it's not really serious and like, you can see that the actors and actresses had fun with it.
Wisely.
Choose wisely.
You have chosen. Let's see. All right, let's go.
Alrighty, we're gonna go with this one. Let's see here. Wicked. Okay, alright.
I have not seen Wicked, but I have seen a lot of promo for that.
So this one is directed by John M. Chu. It was released on November 22nd of 2024. Kind of late release. It was released around Thanksgiving, I think, because all the kids were out. So it's smart on their part that they got that little Thanksgiving week slot. I really enjoyed it. I did not know the story of Wicked. The only thing I knew is it is a backstory about Glinda and Elphaba, the good witch and bad witch from Wizard of Oz, and that it was a Broadway musical. Now, I am not really partial to musicals, but I will watch a musical if the story is well written. I think the movie was beautifully shot. The costume direction, or the costume creation was really, really well made. Ariana Grande plays Elphaba, which I didn't know how I thought about that because I only knew her from Nickelodeon shows.
Right.
And she always played like this ditzy character. So no shade to her, but Elphaba is also kind of like a ditzy character because on Broadway it's played by Kristen Chenoweth. So I think she did a really, really good job. Her vocal stylings were really, really well sang. But the star for me was Cynthia Erivo. She plays Elphaba. She really took the character and took like inspiration from Elphaba on Broadway. With I think Idina Menzel is how you pronounce her name, the girl that plays Elsa from Frozen. She was Elphaba on Broadway. But she takes the character and makes it her own. I think Elphaba is a very grounded character, which I really, really like, because as we were talking before the show, I partially don't really like movies that take a villain and then give them a backstory and say that they were good first, and then they just jump to bad out of nowhere. They did it with Mufasa. They did it with Hunger Games, Songbirds and Snakes, where the villain was originally good, and then something that's not that like bad happens to them, and they just go off and turn bad. Wicked does a really, really good job of letting you know that she is portrayed as evil, but she isn't evil. Everyone around her just needed a villain, and so they crafted her as a villain because she didn't listen to the higher-ups. I think it's really, really good. The only qualm I have about it is it's a part 1. Spoiler alert, I don't even know if that's a spoiler. They announced it as a part 1, then they took the word part 1 off, and then people were mad that it was a part 1. But at the very beginning, when it reveals the title card, it says part 1. Because they're splitting it they're doing 2 movies based off Act 1 and Act 2. Okay. And it's 3 hours long.
Oh, wow.
It is really, really, really long. When the whole show itself is like 3 hours long. So they're splitting this into a 6-hour extravaganza. I think the next one's gonna be really good. I'm scared for my workplace because it's gonna be really, really crowded. But I will say, if you have not watched this, you should watch it. It is one of my favorite movies of last year, even though I don't like musicals. I'm partial to Wizard of Oz because that's my mom's favorite movie.
Now, I also heard that they kept all of the songs the same throughout and they didn't add any songs like the Disney movies do. They didn't do anything like that. They kept all of the songs the same.
Nope, it is the exact same track list, which I also like. I don't like when they take a movie and they slapped an original song on there just because they want more money. I think Disney does that well, but I don't think Wicked is a Disney. I don't think it's a Disney production. So they take it, they do it well. Wicked, they didn't need to do that because their songs are already well known. So they were like, all right, we're just gonna make money and capitalize off of it. So yeah, I'm going to put this one as the 3rd edition of the Certified Banger. I think this one deserves it. I think it got snubbed in the awards. They didn't even get nominated at the Oscars for Best Song at all. There was another movie that got nominated like twice in its place. But I think the next one will for sure be like one of the most talked about films for a while. All right, so number 9.
All right, number 9. Let's see how about this one over here.
All right, let's see here. Okay, we have A Quiet Place Day 1. Have you heard of the other Quiet Place movies?
I have heard of them. I think my son has watched A Quiet Place, and they made a lot of noise during it. Whenever they were messing around with it, they would wait for something to happen to be really, really suspense, and then somebody would make a really loud noise just to mess with them. Yes.
I don't know why. I think since a kid, I have always been afraid of like loud noises like that, especially it doesn't matter if it's a paranormal movie, it could be an action movie. I remember watching Oppenheimer, and when the nuke finally exploded, I was plugging my ears and closing my eyes because I don't like sudden loud noises, and this movie plays on that being the sole reason for a jump scare. The one thing I don't like about this movie is it's directed by Michael Cernoski, but the first 2 are directed by John Krasinski. And he made the first 2 more like family oriented. Right. And obviously we're following different characters. Emily Blunt is his wife in the real world and in the movie. But on this one, it is Lupita Nyong'o, which is the girl that is in Black Panther. She's in the movie Us, if you've heard of that one, by Jordan Peele. She's a very, very good actress. And then it also has the guy that is going to play Johnny Storm in the new Fantastic Four movie. I do not remember his name for the life of me. Editor's gonna slap it in there. But yeah, it's me. But it has both of them. The only thing I don't really like about it, it's very quiet obviously, no pun intended, but it's very quiet.
Intend your puns.
Not a lot of dialogue in the movie, and it's kind of slow. I don't know if I want to put it in the good or in the bad, because like it was a good movie. It was a good movie in itself, but I don't know if I'd ever watch it again. Like, even if someone put it on, I'd be like, we're really watching this one when there's other movies around. I think it was like a cute little story. I think it could have been a TV show. I think that's the way it could have been a little bit better and had me invested in these characters, because these are new characters to a story that already has 2 additions to it.
Right.
And we never really got a conclusion to the original story. So now we have to go out of our way to meet 2 new characters that weren't important to the main story. So yeah, you know what? I am gonna rip it. I think this one is gonna go in my bad, not gonna watch it again. Blow it up. All right, so now we're on our final one.
All right, let's see.
Oh, you saved the dark one for the last one.
Yes, I can kind of see through that. So that one is where?
That one is Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. It's just fun to say.
You have a good vampire impression, don't you? So this one is directed by Robert Eggers, and this one was also released on Christmas with that Baby Girl movie, which I guess Christmas was just for a random, it's a weird genre.
Why not Halloween?
Nosferatu, I think, was beautifully shot. It's one of my favorite like sets that they have, because it's like very gothic. It kind of reminds me of like Hunchback of Notre Dame like setting, very like Tim Burton-esque. But obviously the plot, it's a very classic black and white movie. It's about this vampire who has like a muse in the main actress, who is played by, or the main character played by Lily Rose Depp. And he basically gives her an ultimatum and is like, you swear your life to me and you're gonna be like my wife or my servant for the rest of your days, or I'm going to do a plague. I think that's the whole metaphor of the movie is, other than the love interest thing going on, is that Nosferatu represents the plague of the 1800s, or the Black Plague. But one scene that I think is really, really cool is as he's giving her this ultimatum, he's played by Bill Skarsgård too, amazing actor. He can literally transform into anybody. He is Pennywise, if y'all know, from It. And there's one scene where he's giving her this ultimatum, and you see the town from overhead, like an aerial shot, and it's a shadow of his hand casting over the town, basically being like, if you don't obey me, then my power, my prowess is going to kill everyone in the town. And I would have never thought about that. Like, I'm good, I'm gonna break the fourth wall. I made this show, but I'm not gonna do all that stuff where I'm gonna create a set and have no, I would never have thought about this. But Robert, the director, he is very, very good. He has another movie that I recommend called The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, where it's like these 2 sailors get stranded on an island and they have to survive, and they go to, like, it's very simple premises. Right. He took Nosferatu, which is a classic, I think it's from the 20s, I wanna say, 1920s movie, and then made it very like in-depth. It's another long one. I think the color grading on it is really, really cool. It's like cool, like black and gray, which I don't really like black and gray movies, but a lot of Robert Eggers movies are like that.
I was going to ask, because I know the original one was black and white.
Yeah.
Is this one in black and white, or kind of a monochromatic, or does it have color?
I think it's more monochromatic. Like, they use black and white, but it's not very like flat black and white. Okay. There's one scene where one of the main characters is walking through the woods, and it has like a blue undertone to it because it's all in the winter. But like during the daytime, they'll keep it like in color. But then during nighttime, when Nosferatu's doing his antics, then they'll make it black and white. They use the use of color really, really well. This one also got nominated for an Oscar, which I thought was really, really crazy because it came out on Christmas, very, very late into the game, and finally got nominated for, I think it's costumes, it's makeup, because Bill Skarsgård got transformed into this nasty, like, undead, vampiric Russian creature. But yeah, I think it was a really, really good movie. I think this one also goes into my certified bangers. I think you saved some of the best for last of my my tier list. So now we are actually going to get into our favorite movies of the year. I have one that is for a more action-driven movie, even though a lot of these have been family goes here, stuff goes wrong, they go back. Right. But this one that I'm gonna talk about, I'm gonna call it my Best Picture nominee, was a very, very unexpected movie. I didn't think it was gonna be my favorite movie, and that is Dune Part 2. So Dune Part 2, obviously, is the second edition of the Dune series. I don't remember who wrote it.
I believe it's Robert Heinlein.
Heinlein. So all I knew about the Dune series is that it was the books, or it was the series that inspired Star Wars, I believe. George Lucas got inspiration from it. There's a lot of similarities in it. It's like boy goes to space and is like a little savior, and then from what I have heard / have done research, he turns evil eventually, and then there's gonna be another savior. I do not remember, but I remember a lot of hype around it because there was Zendaya, Timothée Chalamet, a lot of these heavy hitters in the film world. And when the first one came out, I really wanted to watch it, but I heard it was 3 hours long. And the main reason I was going to watch it was because Zendaya was in it, and then Zendaya was in like 5 minutes of the 3-hour long movie, so I never got around to watching it. So then, at my theater, we had the 40X auditorium again, and the stuff moves around. And my friend and I finally went to go watch it because they brought the first one back the week before the second one comes out. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a Dune marathon. I watched the first one, and we watched it in 40X, and we had the whole auditorium to ourselves. So we were screaming, yelling, hooting, hollering throughout the whole thing. And it's kind of hard to keep up with all the different, like, I'm gonna call them factions or like the kingdoms of space in that movie. So we compared them to like rappers or something like that. It was very, very weird. We were like, all right, that's Eminem's group over here. And then we have LL Cool J is the villain. And then we have Dr. Dre is gonna be the side character. That was the way that we kept track of it, and it worked. And then you get into the second movie. After the first movie, Timothée Chalamet's character is like running around, basically trying to evade and like understand. The first movie is used to develop like the kingdoms and the hierarchies. The villains come in and they're trying to defeat the good guys. They do defeat the good guys, and now Timothée Chalamet has to rise up as the new fearless leader of the rebellion, which is very similar to Star Wars again. But the action and the direction of this movie, top tier. I remember what originally got me to want to watch the movies was I was in the theater trying to clean, and they showed a little snippet from Dune 2. And there's a scene in Dune 2 where Timothée Chalamet's character is standing there with hooks, and he's like walking sideways on the sand dune, and the camera is following him. I don't know how they do it because it's these huge deserts. He's walking sideways on the sand dune, and you see this creature off in the distance, slowly like moving, this huge creature. And then as it slowly moves towards him, he starts running, and he jumps, and he hooks onto this sandworm, and then rides the sandworm. And I was like, I have to go see that movie. They add a lot of new actors and actresses. Florence Pugh from that We Live in Time movie that we were talking about, she is like this princess to this king of the universe that is going to be in a future movie, I would hope, because they didn't really elaborate on them too much. They brought in Austin Butler, who was the guy that played Elvis in the Elvis biopic. They brought in Christopher Walken, classic actor. But yeah, I think that movie was one of the greatest movies of last year. I think if not, it is the greatest movie of last year, especially for a sequel. I'm not a fan of sequels. I'm a fan of original work, but and usually if there's like a saga and there's 3 movies, the third one is my favorite. So I'm interested to see what the next one is, because I feel like there's about to be like 8 movies, even though they release it, all these people do like the press for it, and then they disappear. And now I'm scared because Dune 3, they're gonna announce it, and I'm gonna be like, I'm on the way. But yeah, I think it was a really, really good movie. If you haven't seen it, I think it's on HBO or one of the streaming services. Both of them are on there. They're just very long, but that's my Best Picture nominee. Now going into yours, you have another animated movie that you said was one of your favorites for last year.
So I kind of have 2. So I liked The Wild Robot. I really liked that one. Just the whole idea of this robot who takes care of this little duck and keeps the duck and lets it grow up, and eventually sets him to go, so he goes migration and everything like that. And I really like the animation style of that particular movie. Just when the robot is early on, it's very clean cut animation.
Okay.
As it goes along, the more wild the robot becomes, the fuzzier the animation becomes.
Okay.
And it's actually really pretty cool.
Yeah,
Because all the animals and stuff are kind of this fuzzy stuff. And then the new robots come in at the end, and so you see the different.
They're like more refined.
They're more refined, and you see the very, very clean line animation of the clean robots, and then you have this other one who's got moss growing on it and everything
Yeah,
like that.
I love movies like that where they pay attention to animation or they do animation styles, like the Spider-Man animated movies. Those are really cool. Like when
Into the
Miles.
Spider-Verse.
Yes.
With Miles Morales.
Yes, when Miles is like first swinging, the bit rate or the animation rate, the frame rate is slower because it looks more jagged as he's swinging. But then as the movie goes on, they added more frames to show that he's swinging smoother. And I would have never thought about that. Again, I'm not an animator. I only animate like on the computer, but I don't really draw that well. But seeing that effort put into an animated movie makes me want to go watch the animated movies. And especially for that one, I knew it was based off of a kid's book because a lot of the customers coming into my work would talk about it. And I see people like leaving crying, and I'm like, okay, maybe I want to go see this movie, because if it's a good animated movie and it has a good plot or an original story, I would go watch it. And the robot, the person that voices the robot, is the girl Lupita Nyong'o from A Quiet Place. So a lot of the actors and actresses throughout the films of last year are going from film to film. Yeah, but that one looked really, really good to me. I remember seeing credits of like this, or not credits, but a trailer of the robot like crawling like a dog or like leaping like a deer. So I was kind of confused with all that, but it did really, really good in the box office from what I saw.
They did a fantastic job of, sometimes it'll be an animated movie, and like if it was a normal particular thing, here's this robot, and then all of a sudden the animals start talking. Right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, how did the animals start talking? Well, they actually do a whole montage sequence where the robot is learning the language of all these animals. Okay. So it's sitting there just observing, and all the animals are crawling all around it. They're all going back and forth, and it is going, okay, this means this word, this means this word, this means that. And so it does this whole montage of her learning all of the languages of all of these different animals, so she can talk to them all, and they can all intertalk. And so it ended up working out really good.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, and now there's the one part where she ends up letting the little duckling go, and it kind of reminds me, because my son is getting ready to go to college, and so we were kind of like, oh, he's getting ready to fly off.
Yeah.
So that was a little
touching.
My wife was a little teary-eyed. So, but.
And the little fun fact is, I actually work with your son. I know you know this, but yes, we work at the same place. So it's funny. I was like telling him like last week or whenever we worked together last, I was like, yeah, me and your dad are gonna be talking about movies. I'm gonna talk about current movies because I already work here, and then me and your dad are gonna be talking about the classic movies next week.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned for that next episode. Thank you for watching the Shot List Show. If you liked what you saw, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let us know what you want to see in the next one. I'll see you in the next episode.